All right, we are here at Penrose Point State Park doing some community science with Harbor WildWatch in collaboration with Mike Behrens representing Pacific Lutheran University and Hannah over there representing the lovely UW folks. Penrose is one of the sites where we're doing some oyster work that you might have learned about while Mike did his cocktails and fishtails presentation. So again, if you're just tuning in, we're out here at Penrose doing some community science. This is one of the sites we've been coming to since summer of 2013, and we do a various set of surveys. Right now you can see we have a group of folks out here collecting some data on the quadrats. Right now they're at the +1 tidal height. We already finished up the 0 and -1 tidal height, and so today we're going to give you a little bit more of an in-depth look at what is going on with these PVC pipe squares. These things are called a quadrat. Marine science is pretty fancy in that we get to use PVC meter tapes. Our equipment's pretty rudimentary, but it works for some pretty good data. This little square here is representative of a 1/4 meter. So if I had 4 of them, that would be a full meter squared. And so in this plot, we're essentially counting or estimating the percent cover of all the living things. If I were to compare this to the presence absence survey that we were doing yesterday at Maple Hollow, I would say this is a little bit more of an in-depth look at the life on the beach. Again, I'm going to say sorry about the wind. Of course, whenever we're doing Facebook Live, it seems like things get windy, so I'll do my best to block the wind out, but here we are. Hi Kenzie. So we're just finishing up. We've already collected data on these squares. We're going to shift our squares up to the +5 tidal height. And again, we're going to be counting all the different things. So you'll notice, Mike will probably see it again, but each quadrat is like a snowflake. Each one's different. If I look at where Kenzie's was over here, between the 12 and 12.5, you can see that's a little bit different from the one we were just looking at. And then Carly and Mike and Hannah all had to dig through this thick layer of ova intestinalis to find out what was living at the +1 tidal height here. So we had things like barnacles, the Balanus glandula or acorn barnacle, ova lactuca or that sea lettuce, ova intestinalis, that stringy green, lots of green shore crabs, some black clawed mud crabs. But I'm going to go catch up with everybody shifting over to the +5 tidal height, and we'll get a little bit of a nice comparison of how the life changes at these different tidal heights. So everyone is getting their quadrats set up 3 meters apart from each other. I'm going to put my square down at the 15 to 15.5. I have a nice awkward boulder in between mine. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm looking down the line of the +5 tidal height. You can see there is a lot less green seaweed on this line. And then Josie's here, our data recorder extraordinaire. And so we're just gonna kind of peek around, see what people are counting, estimating. Kind of getting into the oyster zone here. Are you seeing anything cool, Kenzie?
Crab count.
Nice. She has the very scampery little green shore crabs here.
There he is.
Ooh. Nice.
Doing some limpets.
Some limpets. Little cap shells. Excellent. You can hear people are yelling out numbers at Josie.
14, how many yards?
Hemiorgs is code for that green shore crab, Grapsis organensis. Carly's got the oyster mother lode in her quadrat. We didn't see many of these in the lower tidal heights, so we've kind of reached prime oyster zone, so nice.
10 checkered periwinkles and 5 limpets.
That's what Carly's counted in this nice square.
I have 7 limpets.
Take a peek at what Hannah's finding.
Oh shoot.
Not a ton.
Take away my limpet count, Josie.
You can hear Carly needing to change her limpet number. Sometimes you find a new rock that has a lot more
Another oyster.
data to add.
What I can see down
Got
there.
38 limpets.
That's a lot of limpets, Mike. Mike, can you tell us more about why we use these fancy PVC pipe quadrats to measure?
So we use them, and this one I'm missing a side just because we're down one piece of PVC today, but we use these to basically outline a known area, and it happens to be 1/4 of a square meter. And so we know that every time we come back, we're counting animals, and we know their actual density, so the numbers per unit area. And that's different from some of our other methods that look just at whether or not the organism is there or not, or present or absent. And so it gives us a nice metric that we can compare site to site, or even transect to transect, about how many individuals we actually have.
Awesome. Looks like definitely less seaweed than your last square down there.
A lot less. Lots of small things up here. Things like, you can even see a little baby mussel right there.
Gosh.
A bunch of baby limpets around it, and a periwinkle snail, and then a bunch of barnacles.
Nice. And for those of you who've done any beach monitoring with us in the past, we used to count every single live barnacle. You could tell a live barnacle by the little shell plates that close up the barnacle when the tide is low, compared to a dead barnacle that looks like an open volcano. We don't do that anymore. We now do a % cover of barnacles. So now's the time to come join us beach monitoring when there's not a COVID situation limiting our participants here. Cool.
Josie, did I give you a periwinkle number yet?
Carly has more limpets to add.
32. Actually, no, that number's going to be really low.
Gosh, this eraser has never gotten a harder workout.
Josie, I'm going to come take a look at some of the data you've recorded today. Alright, so even just looking at the data, we have our green seaweeds. You can see nothing in our +5 tidal heights, and then things ranging from, you could add that up to 100% coverage in our -1 tidal heights, even our 0 and our +1. So lots of seaweed going on. You can kind of see the shift in different animals at different tidal heights. So I'm looking at, let's see, what's a good, our periwinkle number. We're only finding those in the high intertidal zone, nothing in the low. Whereas a different type of snail, the lacuna, we start to see that down at the bottom. Kenzie's gonna go cover my horrendous boulder over there. So again, we're at Penrose Point State Park. You can see the spit is nice and exposed. The tide is pretty low today, and we're enjoying this nice low tide by coming out to collect data for our beach monitoring program, and are happy that you got to tune in for a little bit. We're gonna finish up this tidal heights quadrats and shift to doing some oyster measurements, which will feature at tomorrow's live beach monitoring event. So we'll learn more about how these lovely oysters are recruited like Penrose. So there's a nice big one here. We've definitely seen some smaller ones on the beach. I'm not finding any in the direct vicinity here, but lots of fun stuff out here on the beach. So thank you so much for tuning in and checking out what we're up to out at Penrose. If you enjoyed this content, you're welcome to become a YouTube subscriber, where you'll get alerted to new content Harbour WildWatch is putting out. Of course, like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We'll be posting some highlights there. We have a sweet little Father's Day post for our pipefish that we found today. They are like the ultimate dad because they hold the eggs just like a seahorse does. And so yeah, we'll be posting fun educational content on all of those sites, as well as the YouTube page. So thanks for tuning in, and of course you can support Harbour WildWatch monetarily through a donation through the link on this page or through our website. If that's not an option, no worries. Feel free to share our content and tell your friends about us. Even join the Steward Club. That's a cool way that you can support Harbour WildWatch. We're excited to, get to a point where we get to have more people out on the beach, but I will be posting this, so if you missed the video, as I see Lorena, welcome. I'm gonna post this so you can catch up with what we're up to after I end this live stream, and you can see some of the quadrat data we collected today. And then join us again tomorrow for some oyster stuff. So again, thanks for tuning in, and learn, have fun.